All right, welcome to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. Ray lay down. The truth is here. Yes. There's headphones, but you don't need them. You don't want to mess up your hair or whatever. Poet, I met you. Let me see here. I think I met you in person a month ago, but I think I've heard about you because people have been on. Cass Mo's been on the podcast. Cassandra, Kaiserific, and people have been talking about you on this podcast. So they told me to get you on this podcast and T Spirit. Those are the two poets that if I was going to get the best poets in St. Louis to finish it out. So once we do this podcast, I'll get T Spirit, and then I got everybody. I had Abinagad on here. I've had Truth on here before. So then I'm going to have all the great poets on this podcast. I got one more to go after you.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored. For even to be in that category with all them names, I'm honored. Thank you.
Now, a little bit about your you just really got into the poet scene, I guess, in the recent years, right?
Yeah, the open mic scene. Yeah, I would say pretty much this past year, and then prior to that, I've wrote poetry for a long time, since I was about 14, but I didn't know stuff like this existed. So when I found it, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that either. I didn't know there's a big poet scene in St. Louis either.
I didn't know any of it existed. Yeah. I was in foster care, so I moved schools a lot. So I never really got to be settled in a school to know about writing in school and poetry in school and stuff like that. I never studied poetry. It was just a passion of mine. And when I came to the open mic scene, I seen people that were just so passionate too. And you could just tell that this is what they loved to do and they were good at it. And it was inspiring. So I stuck around and met a great group of people.
When was your first open mic that you went to? Now, did you go there first and just kind of check the scene out before you went on stage?
No. So my best friend invited me to Poetic Justice it was December 2018 when she invited me. And I signed up. I didn't know what I was signing up for. And I walked in, and it was by the Fox Theater on Grand, this building he was in. And I was like, holy shit, there were so many people. Right. I was like, my heart immediately, I just had a little jailhouse poem with me. I didn't have any of my stuff, just this one little notebook, and I got up there and did my stuff. But I was so inspired that all the different forms, it's so creative. I love it.
Yeah, I find it amazing too. I think I like it so much because I can't do it. So I always...
You probably could if you tried.
I don't know. I can make some words rhyme, I think, but I don't know if I could lay it all out like how you guys lay it out.
Emotion is hard to convey. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm already kind of emotionally detached.
Yeah.
So mine is more of a message, a wordplay message. Mine aren't too emotional, but I really like the ones that are because I'm I dig that because I can't do that.
Right. Some of them, Cassandra, she really taps into the emotion. And
yes.
And so this guy's horrific. He does a great job, too.
They all do. I mean, so many people have pieces that they'll have a piece and I don't have favorites because I love so many different people's pieces. There ain't no favorites. There's so many amazing poets and pieces out there. Yeah.
So when you're young and not that you're old or anything, but but when did you start writing poetry? When
I was 14.
You're 14. You're in high school.
I think I was in 8th grade.
8th grade, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I wrote a poem to the federal government, basically, telling them how I felt. My parents went to prison. So, and the charges, the time that they were looking at for their charges, I just felt some type of way because they were good people. They were just caught up, with drugs and stuff. So I wrote a poem to them, and that was my first, ooh, that felt good. You know what I mean? I got what I wanted to get out. I don't care who read it. I don't care if anybody read it. Just the fact that I had got that off my chest. And then I found writing as an outlet that's how I can process my emotions and my thoughts and my trauma. I can process it through my writings and, too, give back with a message.
Right.
So...
Can you do you memorize? Do you still have that memorized, that poem that you wrote when you were 14?
No. No. But I do believe I still have it somewhere. I'm sure somewhere I have it because I have most of all my poems. I lost one notebook throughout my journey, and that was heartbreaking. But most of all my poems I have. Yeah.
So, talk about like the writing process when you write a poem. Like, do you have to be in a certain kind of situation of feeling? Does it, or is it something that you put every day at this time you start writing poetry? Like, do you have to be going through some shit to like really get?
I think the best time is I write poetry all the time. I'm not even gonna lie. Mm-hmm. If I feel I don't talk to people, like I'm not on the phone. Like I don't have a lot of friends. I got one best friend. We might see each other once a week. I don't do the phones and all that stuff. I talk to my mom on the phone because, she wants to talk on the phone.
Right.
And she lives 2 hours away. So I talk to her on the phone.
Right.
But I don't get stuff out. So poetry is my way for real to get stuff out.
Yeah. Okay. It's like
so I just take like, I analyze stuff in my head. Mm-hmm. So I'll take my personal situation and look at it in a bigger perspective so that more people can relate to it and write like that. So whatever's going on in my life, I can use it as an outlet and not be like real personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like journaling, but it's also mind play with me because I'm turning my personal life or experience into a bigger perspective that more people can understand and relate to.
Gotcha. Do you like watch the news and see all that kind of stuff? And
I don't watch the news. I don't even watch TV.
Okay. I was just wondering with like some of the social things you say in your poetry, if that's reflected off things.
That's meditation. That's just connecting with people in my surroundings and understanding what's going on around me and stuff. I'm not going to say I don't get pieces of the news and stuff, but as far as watching the news, no.
Yeah.
I don't even really watch TV.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more of a artsy person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather go paint, draw, read a book. I homeschool my kids, so I have a lot of time to do that. Mm-hmm. So, my time is not on that for real.
Right. Okay. But so it's just what you get from all your friends and things, different things that you're going through and that you see other people going through, and you put it into your poetry. I was going to have you do a couple poems today. Okay. But so you did. I want to kind of get to that point. So you did the open mics. This was like maybe a year, 2 years ago.
So it was the end of 2000, and no, it was the beginning of 2019. I lied. It was the beginning of 2019, and then I didn't come back around for a whole year. And Poetic Justice had moved down to the Shade Restaurant Bar and Grill. My best friend asked me again to go. I went, and I kept going. And that was the only open mic I knew of. And then I started talking to the other artists that were going there and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were telling me about other open mics. So I started hitting other open mics, like There It Is Thursday, Word Up, Lyrical Therapy, that new shit, and Artemis stuff on Thursday. I've been there as well. I even tried to do my own open mic during that time. So, yeah, I found all these platforms, and I was like, cool, I can give my messages. Because that's what I feel like they are.
Right. No, I feel that too, yeah. Yeah. When you write your poem, like how long does it take to like memorize it to be able to go on stage for the first time and do a new one?
Well, typically the first time I probably do it, it's not going to be like the best, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've surprised myself over and over. Like this last show, that new shit last month, when I was a feature, I memorized like 9 new poems in a month. And like some of them are kind of like long.
Well, yeah, the one you did, I think it was either Tuesdays Up in Smoke I was at. That's where I met you for the first time.
Yeah.
But that one was like 3-4 minutes. I was like huge monologue. I would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
and there's a couple of them like that, and I surprised myself memorizing them. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Let's for the audience out there, can we do like a poem, one of your favorites, like when you first start doing the
I can do my let's see if I can remember. So I wrote this for my friend that was having problems on the open mic scene. I didn't know nothing about this stuff, but this was written on her behalf, and it was called Bling Bling, and it was, hang on, let me see how it goes. I can see your pretty boy presentation, and let me just say that you cannot pimp me for my passion, playboy. I can see your ploys from a mile away, okay? And I'll be damned if I don't stand 10 toes down for mine. So I'm taking my time, making up my mind, keeping my spine, with no mind or time for your undermine. 'Cause you see, I see through the childish minds from maybe the hard, harsh times of having to grow up too fast, too young, too gung-ho. So blindly we follow the wrong things, but truth typically does not come silently with wings. It is the big elephant in the room making room for the truth that you simply cannot just pimp me from my passion. And how trashy and distasteful are you for trying to take advantage of my kindred spirit? Trying to give genuine love is just, well, downright distasteful. And I'm no fucking toy for no little boy. I'm a whole grown worthy ass woman. And you can pimp a trick and trick a hoe, but you can't play me. You can't trick me, player. Fornicating with your pretty face, but that narcissist whole, soul of yours is so bold into thinking I can't see right through you, boo. So I'm pimp smacking you back to your whack ass thirst trap you're selling, and not settling, not meddling with your non-elevating, low class and trashy ass. For my soul is precious, so I ain't letting just any old body up in my body. Pretty presentation and face, but you're pregnant with bad intentions. And I can hear you knocking, but I'm not letting you in, friend, 'cause I'm on my grind and I'm protecting mine. Can't you see this self-worth? It shines through the blinds, past your blind ass eyes. I guess it's true, only those with a third eye can recognize mine. So it's okay if you can't see. Just let me be, and just let me bling bling, motherfucker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when you're reciting it, I got a lot of questions about that poem. By the way, first, are you seeing visuals when you're doing your performance? Like, I'm a visual person, so sometimes
nope. It's more of like a rhythm. That's how I remember my poems. Is like it's like a rhythm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a visual.
And then the backstory obviously was probably some guy that thought he was hot shit. Mm-hmm. Does this guy
trying to take advantage of girls in the poetry scene and
right,
stuff?
Right.
You know?
Does this guy know about this poem?
I did it there, but I don't know that connected dots.
Oh, maybe he wasn't too smart to.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It wasn't in regards to me because I don't fuck around like that, but it was in regards to a good friend of mine, and yeah. So
yeah, you get a bunch of sleazeballs, I'm sure, all the time. So, I love that poem. Kind of talk like, so when you break it down, do you go from the beginning to the end usually because you're finding that rhythm, or is it like you find little pieces here that'd be good for the middle? Just want to be good for a strong ending.
I write it all the way through. I just sit down like I'm writing a letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I usually, if I have like maybe a handful of pieces that I have started and not went back to, but the majority of my pieces, I write it all the way through. I sit down and I start with a topic that's on my mind, and it just keeps going because you're pissed off or you're having emotion about it, like that. No, I just feel like I'm like tapping into like a higher consciousness. If you want me to be completely honest, yeah. I feel like it's a form of meditation. I'm connecting to myself and my higher power when I do this.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's like an outlet, input type ordeal. It's like a vessel.
What's one of your favorite ones that you can? That's a crowd favorite that. I've heard.
Well, of course, Lotus Flower, but that one's long. I got a new one that people seem to like the Age of Aquarius. It's kind of a matter of fact.
You can do if it's long. I don't care how long it is. Whatever
Lotus Flower that's like a signature piece of mine because it's like kind of like my life story. Mm-hmm. But you may have heard that one before because I think. Oh, I don't.
I love. Well, I've heard
many of them.
Many of them,
probably
a couple
I
times.
Post all kinds of them on Facebook too.
But then sometimes when you hear it the first time and then you hear it the second time, you catch, for me as a listener, different pieces.
That's so true. That is true, because that's other artists. I do that with other artists, so that is true. Okay, well, I guess I'll do Lotus Flower then. Okay. Fuck it. That's a good signature piece. Look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. I never knew what I could do. From facing my fears fighting in foster homes to facing my fears here today on this fucking stage. Man, what a difference some years and some soul searching can make. From silent self-misery to standing here loudly and proudly voicing my history. I'm giving it my all. I'm putting my heart and soul into these rhythms and visions, and despite it all, I am still winning. Alpha to the Omega, spit to asphalt, I'm in it to win it. It's written. I don't have to stay sitting, stay resistant to change, to newfound ways. Cut the strings in which you were set up with and grow wings the fallen can't fuck with. See, we can run with what we see fit to outgrow this confliction we sit in. Inmate 119-8940 to a self-made fucking hero. Yeah, a no-limit soldier. 'Cause I'm removing the boulders from our shoulders to bask in the rays of newfound ways. Just for today. 'Cause I too had my yesterdays, my arrested days, my molested days, my hopeless dope fiend days, decaying in the cracks of the systems. Ignorance is blissful days, okay? But today, I choose to take heed to all the energies I read and I learn and I grow. And look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. I never knew what I could do. And I ain't folding. I'm smoking only what I'm rolling. Trolling nothing but knowledge. I was spread from Barnhart to Baden, and I never thought I'd make it, shake it. The ghost from my past was faking and fronting, but they fear me now, 'cause they hear I'm coming. 'Cause I arose from them pits they had me tripped up in and came back running. Strong from them grips. From their strong arms jumping in and out of cars. Calling me star 'cause my titty tattoo strung out on dog food. Shitty, ignorant, fucked up attitude, always singing the blues. And hadn't the slightest clue to who the fuck I was yet. Watch me win for my kids to see and be able to count on me for the whole foreseeable future. I let my truth set me free so all can see just how far I've made it. Don't hate your past, embrace it. If you don't like something, change it, rearrange it. Life is what you make it. Playing blues clues to find the true you. Keeping translucent views you can see through. Today I choose to not fall victim to my self-made circumstances. No more. Therefore, the price I paid for peace was priceless. Years of time spent reconstructing me to be the person I really wanted to be. No longer fronting me, I'm flexing me. I'm really loving on me. Relearning to trust me after years of fucking me over. I got older. I stopped drinking the rotten milk from the devil's tit in the systematic sippy cup. I grew up and ingested soul food and outgrew and detoxed from their noise and their poison. And look at me standing here grinning now with poise and proud. Look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. Look what I've grown through. I never knew what I could do. I took them stones you threw and grew a fucking fortress. Boss shit. Real love and light, I'm crossed with it. Bearing my crosses of truth that I have fought and sought to stand here today and be okay in the skin I am in. So today when you see me passing through, passing you, I ain't passing you. I'm passing me. For my kids to see me rewriting my history from selling and slaying my soul for some little white powder and the power it holds, to reclaiming my crown and the power within I found, learning how to spread real love around town. So today when you see me, whether in Peabody or Peevely, believe me when I say this love and light right here is given freely. And baby, it ain't going nowhere but up from here.
Wow. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Definitely a testimonial piece.
Right,
sure.
Right. Do you feel like that, to be a great poet, I guess you really have to be vulnerable and be able to tell your story and be completely honest about it, right? I mean,
I feel like if you're trying to help somebody,
right,
and if you're trying to get them to see the light, because we got a lot of people out here in the dark,
Right.
you know, and I've been in the dark. I understand. But at a certain point, you got to find the light, and that light's within you. And, you know, if I can share my truth to show you that it's possible, I mean, everything I went through would be in vain, honestly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I didn't come out and learn all these lessons. And you know, my creator didn't make me this way for me not to share the message, you know.
Yeah. Everybody goes from their ups and downs, and sometimes when I get depressed, there's certain motivational speeches I listen to, certain songs. Do you, when sometimes maybe you're feeling a little down, do you go back to that poem to kind of like reassure yourself, reassess, like to kind of, you know, tell yourself where you came from and where you're at now, kind of the keep you I guess on your, not really on your feet's not the right word I'm trying to say, but
Where you come from.
Right.
Remind yourself where you come from.
Right.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I don't need a poem for that.
Right.
I'll never forget where I came from. But I think it's just most of my I like coming across pieces that I forgot about, or, you know, but I never forgot about this piece. I wrote this piece, and I knew when I wrote the piece, because I was trying to memorize it, and it was very difficult. And when it's very difficult for me, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a good piece, because I keep tripping up, you know. And it was one of those, and it was like one of my first long pieces that I had memorized. And I knew, I was like, I'm gonna speak my truth, and I'm gonna hopefully help somebody, you know, because pain shared is pain lessened, and people can relate with that.
Right. Have you had people come up to you after you've done your poetry and feedback? Yeah,
it's crazy. When I did that feature show, people were like, girl, you had me crying and stuff. And I was like, what'd I say? You know, because I try to like talk about like inspirational stuff, you know, but I realized that what I've lightened in my life is very heavy on some people.
Right.
But I dealt with it, so it's not heavy to me. I'm trying to lighten my load and lighten theirs by giving them hope, you know.
Yeah. Wow. That one's I love that one. That was so good. Yeah. Thank you again for coming on the show. This is so great.
Thank you for having me.
You also you had a video, let me see here. You do your on TikTok too. How is your traffic on TikTok? 'Cause
you know, I mean,
I just seen it today. I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, I'm definitely not like viral or nothing.
Yeah.
But I post a lot of stuff up there.
Do you think you think for your platform, Facebook or TikTok or what's you think gets the most kind of attention for poetry?
Probably TikTok.
TikTok.
And none of my poetry friends are on my TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crazy. It's all strangers.
All strangers?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, we'll play a video. So definitely follow your TikTok.
Entertain you. And you might not even know it. Oh, yeah, this is... See, if the thought is not pure, it is not of you. Do not consume it. Internalize before you act outwardly. Maintain your energy. For they cannot even blend with pure energy of high frequency, and the highest of all is love. For that's what we were made out of. God made it so if we stand in our pure power He gave us, then they could not manipulate it. Therefore us, for we are energy, light beings, but they play in our shadows and with our skeletons. So first and foremost, you must shed light on these areas, for light turns darkness to dust. And when you don't act in love and truth, they cling to your roots and pump out their poison. A fine way to tell is if they're noisy, because peace is subtle. Chaos is clumsy, and we're drawn to it out of curiosity because it's not of us. So our pure-heartedness turns sour when they devour us. You know, curiosity killed the cat because the cat didn't have discernment. He got killed before he learned it. I didn't, though. I walked in and out the gates of hell and lived to tell about it. So I'm going to. You see, we're born with a pure consciousness, but we're not taught how to maintain or train it. It's connected to the source, the absolute, the all-knowing and loving. And when you're plugged in, there is no running. 'Cause from what? You are the power. They're manipulating you to believe something that is not true. And then if you see it to be true, then they gain control over you in different thought patterns that lead to your demise. They play on the gray lines of uncertainty. That's why one must know thyself, what is of them and what is not. It seems many have forgotten who the fuck they are, and the devil's got them rotten. Principles and purpose all fucked up, looking for hollow fulfillment. Because what you pay attention to is the gift you're paying for. The best gifts are from love and thought. So look at your life. Are you happy with all the gifts you've bought? Or is it all outside fulfillment? If so, then you're probably soul sick. You need soul food, and the soul was created with absolute truth and love. So find some and eat it up. You must fill up and pour out, for that's the only way to push darkness.
Okay. I think what makes, in my opinion, what makes you so great is you got like a really great rhythm when you speak. And I notice a lot of great poets, they always put their beats and pauses at certain spots so the audience can kind of absorb what they're saying on certain words. Like when I'm watching it, I'm kind of breaking down like the art of it. It's kind of like just the artist in me likes to see that. But so no, I think anyways, I think that's why you're so good. So yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was an epiphany piece right there. I just wrote that, and that was like I was literally having a conversation with somebody, and I had an epiphany that it's like we're scared of like devils and evil stuff and stuff, right?
Right.
But if we maintain our energy, they can't like even mix with pure energy, right? So if like you're of a low frequency, your tone, your thoughts, your feelings, if they're not of good, then that means they're bad. That means they're low. But if you keep them high, then low can't even blend with that. So that's what I was talking about in that. I don't, maybe someone will understand.
My breakdown, it seemed like somebody that was influenced by money and greed. Like that was kind of like where I was feeling.
It's just everything, really, you know, just the dark side of things. We're drawn to it because it's not of us. We're curious. We're pure beings, I believe. We're pure light beings, but we get consumed by the darkness, and then we lose the light. So that was like my thought.
Greed, ego, all those things.
Yes. All the low, fear, guilt, resentment, anger, all the low frequencies,
Have you always been very spiritual with or is this kind of
No, this journey's been about 2 years of mine where I've been on it real tough, like with meditation and stuff like that. Trying to figure out life. How I had to unlearn everything I learned. Everything I was taught. Everything. I had to unlearn it. It was a bunch of bullshit. So I had to reteach myself, and to do that is to know yourself, right? First, you got to figure out what's wrong with you, because it's not everybody else. It can't be always everybody else. It's got to be you. At some point, you got to take responsibility of your life. I can't say I'm a drug addict because my parents were drug addicts and they went to prison and all these things happened to me. At what point do you quit using things as an excuse? So I had to go within, and that's what I did, and that's where I met my creator, And when I met him, the all-knowing, the absolute, it was very evident to me. All the answers that I was looking for was there.
That was just a few years ago?
Yeah, about.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe about 2 years ago, maybe.
Do you do your meditation like in the morning when you wake up? Or just sometime?
So I have different forms of meditation. It looks different for me. But on purpose, being aware and conscious on purpose, everything you do with a purpose. If you're speaking mindlessly, you shouldn't be speaking. If you're acting mindlessly, you shouldn't be acting. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's true. That's a good point. Wow, that's powerful.
And I feel like most of us are we're in act instead of thought. Everybody's in act mode, right? They're just acting. Nobody's going in thought and even thinking before they do or say anything. It's like autopilot on the wrong shit.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've had a lot of epiphanies. I don't know. It's been quite a journey. Yeah.
What's epiphany do you have? What's one that comes to mind?
Well, like I was talking about with the energy and the frequencies and stuff, I got I just believe that all the things that really matter in life are the unseen things. You know, it's not what's before us. It's not the physical manifestation of anything that's really of great importance. It's the energy, it's the love, it's where your thoughts are, where your heart is, you know. And if that's in a good spot, you will always act accordingly, and you won't ever have to doubt yourself because you know that your actions were pure. You know, you didn't have no ulterior motives. It wasn't about ego. It wasn't about pride. It wasn't about nothing but pure intentions. And as long as you move like that in life, you're gonna be blessed, because that's what you're doing to other people. You're blessing them, and when they're in your presence, you know, you're trying to give love and radiate that energy, you know, and not adapt to the energy in the room, but elevate it, you know. And that's by not giving energy to the negative things. I don't do it. I'm not going to say too much about nothing, because I don't give energy like that. You're going to hear me talking about all the good stuff. Right. Because that's how you elevate energy. If you give it any kind of energy, you speak on it, you react to it, you're giving it energy. And something only has power if we give it to it, right? Yeah. We have to give it power first. So if you don't want it to have power, you got to quit giving it power. If you don't want negativity to run the world, quit giving it power. It's going to exist, but it's not going to be as powerful. Right. You know? So that's probably the biggest life-changing epiphany that I've had.
That's so powerful and so true. Yeah. Just with the negative, we're talking about the news at the very beginning of this podcast, all that stuff's all negative. Yep. I mean, either what, you know, so, wow. Have you ever done like, consultations with people? Do you like, you should, because people would probably hire you, because that wasn't, you know, wow, that made me you know, because
that's what I want. I want to stimulate minds, like open your mind.
You're doing that to me right now, because not that I was a negative person before, but when I started giving back this year by building this podcast room down here and started, you know, highlighting great artists like yourself, like my life has been very different. Like the best year of my life has been this year, giving, because I've been giving back, so and I haven't been asking for anything. I just keep giving to people,
and but it comes back. Yeah, even though you didn't ask for it, and typically not even from the person you gave it to. Right. Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah. It usually, because that's the way that it works. That's the natural order. Yeah. You're supposed to give to this person, and if they could give it back, they probably would. But you wouldn't be giving it to them in the first place if they had it like that. Yeah. You know? So it's going to be another person that comes along and gives you the same opportunity, you know, or the same blessing, or it looks different, but it's going to come back. I big time believe in karma.
Right. Same. Yeah. Same here. Yeah. I also believe in like laws of attraction too, like the Secret, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of all those kind of books and things like that.
I recently came across them books, and I was like, wow, all stuff that I love confirmation. You know? Yeah. It's amazing.
What's some of the books that you like reading?
Right now I'm reading Vibrational Medicine. And like, I'm like, I'm not smart enough for this book. Like, it's a doctor, you know, and he's talking about how we could be healing right now through energy, you know, and they won't, they're creating the technology for it where they can now see people's auras, you know, their energy field around them. Yeah. And what they're finding is at a certain frequency, you can pierce a certain location, which is typically like lymph nodes and stuff, you know, where you have a lot of them. They can pierce you with a frequency and cure you. And not only cure you, but stop it genetically. Stop it right there. Like where it will no longer carry on to another generation, in you, anything. So they're treating it because that's what it ultimately is. Energy. That's why we're sick. And because we can't see it, we think that that's not what it is. But it is that. It's exactly what it is. And when the energy is not right and we consume it and we're pure, and we're consuming these things that are not pure, Okay, and everything sits at a vibration. Everything. Okay. So when you think about it like that, even food has its own vibration, right? Clothing has its own vibration. If you're not wearing the right kind of fabric, you can throw your vibration off. And this is all stuff that is not taught to us. We don't know these things. It's not common knowledge. But if you start dealing with the energy aspect of things, energy can't lie. So once you figured out how it works, then you realize you really have nothing to be scared of because you maintain yours and now you're aware of everybody else's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I can't remember the question you asked me, but I hope I was on topic.
You're talking about that. You're talking about the book. So do you?
Oh yeah, that book. Okay.
We talked. I think we talked before, right before the podcast, about I was talking how great Soldier by Blood. Shout out to Tweezy, and Rena Phoenix. But they have a great group of people like Casmo. All those people at Tuesdays Up in Smoke have great energy. Yes. Do you feel like you can see people like that don't have it, have like that come in there maybe not? Because I feel it more so than I see it. Okay. So it's more of a feeling for me now. I haven't identified being able to, like visually see an aura or anything like that. I can't do that. But what I do is I feel I know my energy. Yeah. So since I know mine, I can feel anything that is around me that is not of me. Right. Mm-hmm. So whether or not I can feel somebody is of a high energy or a low energy, yeah, I can definitely feel the difference. But it doesn't matter because the whole goal, most of us fluctuate. We don't maintain because we don't even know. Right. How are you going to maintain a certain frequency of energy if you're not even aware of your energy and how to raise it and stuff? Mm-hmm. Which comes sunbathing, sun gazing. You can raise your vibrations through a high energy source, the sun. Right. Yeah, and a lot of people, don't know that, but this book talks about that and stuff too. So, yeah. Well, I don't know if this kind of relates, but I think when the pandemic hit, one of the big things was to get out in the sun because of vitamin K and all that stuff to get that energy up. So I don't.
Maybe that elevated everybody. Right. It very well could have because I stayed in. I was like, mask? No, I need fresh air. That's what's gonna save my life, not a fucking mask. Right.
Right, I was kind of the same way. I don't want to get too far into that down that rabbit hole, but yes, I was the same way you were. I was, after the first couple months, I'm like, all right, well, it's here to stay, so we got to just deal with it or whatever. So yeah. Yeah. So okay, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'd like to do like one more poem, but also let's say that I wanted the TikTok link so they can check you on TikTok. I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, that's at one Ray RAE _ lay LAY down the truth, and that's on TikTok. And then he's got the Ray Lay page on Facebook.
And then I don't want to go through all your photos here on publicly, but I was looking for the poster. You do Poetic Digest at Soulful Illusion Studios with Anton and Kaiserific and Casmo.
Casmo, yeah. Yep. Every Wednesday at 8. We dissect poetry. We read published authors' poetry books, and we bring in poets to spits and pieces and dissect.
So how would you dissect a poem? So next time I have a poet on here, I can do it better.
Oh, well, I think you did great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you did great. But so basically, that's what we do. Where did it come from? Or like when we're reading it, we have to guess, right? Because the person's not with us. Okay. So we kind of go around and we guess. What do you think they were talking about? And everybody will kind of give their perspective. Or maybe it's an author in the room, like Kaiserific or Casmo's book, and we'll go around and talk about what we think maybe it was, and then they can solidify or, confirm whatever, it was about. But typically, that's what we'll do. Where did you get that inspiration from? Why did you write it like that? And sometimes, break down metaphors in people's writings and, stuff like that.
Have you ever had somebody else read your poem up on stage? Like,
I don't think so.
No. But have you ever read other people's poems up on?
Not on stage. Not on stage. No, I read them on Poetic Digest.
Oh, okay.
I refuse to do that on stage. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
I would only want to do my work. I wouldn't want to represent anybody else's work ever. Like my guy tried doing that. He's like, here, read this piece. I'm like, no, sir. you're gonna get up there and read it, or it's not getting read. Like,
well, I was just the reason I asked that question because if somebody read your poem, they might say certain words differently and have the different
Facts.
pacing, and so I don't know if that would be a good thing to maybe not have them do it on stage, but if somebody proofread it and have them do it to you, if that would help, maybe I don't know.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's so terrible is I literally write it like a letter, so you can't. Like,
Yeah,
it's not broke up.
I noticed on the TikTok video, it's
Like a letter. I know where. It's because it's in a rhythm. So when I say it, I pick up. The more I say it, the more I pick up the rhythm that I wrote it in. But that rhythm is written like that, and I don't. It just. Yep. I don't know. I was never told how to like properly write poetry or none of that stuff. So I write it how I.
You never
write
took any classes or any that kind? I never took any either. So, but I mean, I'm not good at it. So,
Well,
but yeah.
I mean, maybe you are. You
Well,
never know.
I'll try one time. Next time Tuesday's up in smoke, I'll
Should.
I'll write something. It'll be real short though, because I'll be all nervous. But
I mean, you could do a goofy one too. Always.
that's probably how I would have to start doing goofy, because that way I get the laughs to get that
Yes.
kind of
confidence.
confidence. Right. It's
Get
right.
the fuel you need.
Yeah. So,
Every time you do it, it's easier though. Like oh man, I used to get so nervous. I'd be cold. Like I'd be like,
you be-
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd get cold. Instead of
I
hot, I don't know. I'd get cold.
I always get nervous before a podcast, or right like seconds before the podcast starts, or right before I go up on stage. But then once I get there, I'm okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's how I'd be too.
But I think that's just my body's adjusting to like
All
the
eyes
energy.
are on you.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah.
I'm not used to that. You know what I mean? Like that was definitely one of the things that was hardest to get used to. Was like, I want people to hear the messages, but boy, it's hard getting up here in front of everybody. You know, like that's how I felt. Like this was kind of tough. So it was like a little bit of walking through my fear on top of purpose.
Yeah.
You know.
I noticed like of all the different industries in St. Louis, like the poets, the musicians, the comedians, and maybe the actors and filmmakers and stuff, like it seems like the poets are more supportive of each other than the other industries.
You think so?
In my opinion, I don't feel like there's.
You know, I can say that the I don't know, man, because
Maybe I'm wrong.
recently I've come across the musician side, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would come to the open mics and whatnot, but I never, you know, recently we just had the versus battle with the Soldier by Blood, and then we had the Yours Ward show, and I was able to come across these people, and they seem pretty tight knit, like a lot of them. And then the comedians too. There's a lot of them that group up and go on out of town together and do shows together and stuff. It doesn't seem like the poets do that as much. It
Really?
seems like we're cool. I'd be cool with people because your shit ain't my shit. I don't have a problem. If you got a problem, that's your shit.
Right.
So I'm not in that shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I come in peace. You know. So I don't be with that. But most of the time, like ain't no back and forth, but ain't no real unity neither. I will say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think amongst the entire community, it should be more, because St. Louis is so talented.
It
if
is.
everybody would just connect, I mean, wow,
That's
we would be a force.
right. And that's how I feel. That's why I'm trying to do what I'm doing, just to bring people together and try to help.
And
help
thank
other
you,
people.
because
Oh,
I think that's great. I do. We need shit like this.
Yeah.
Like when I met all them, I was like, thank you guys. I tell
Yeah.
them every chance I get, thank you, because this is what we need as artists and as a community. We make the culture.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the fucking news, not what they talking about.
Right.
Here, individualizing, personalizing, connecting with people. That's how you make culture, you know? So I think what we do is great, but we gotta fucking come together.
Right.
We can do it for all the wrong reasons. I believe we can do it for the right reasons. And it's starting to change.
I feel like it's really starting to change too. I like, especially in the last couple of years, I do feel like there's something brewing here in St. Louis. Something's about to pop that we might be the next like Atlanta or Austin, Texas, or next.
I
next
agree,
big
because
big
we are
city.
talented here. Yeah.
There's just that verses. I mean, every one of those people that night were like could be
judged. Oh man, I felt sorry for you. I'm like, man, everybody so good.
I know when I got there, I was like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be a judge ever. Like, I can't judge. No, well, like, it was so good though, wasn't it? A good show.
It was good.
Man.
Well, I made sure when I did the judging, I say something positive about the person you're about to say that didn't win. So I was like, once I figured out who I was going to pick or who I want to make sure I said something complimentary about their performance and then so
I don't too much take stuff like that personally, so I'm like kind of like the best person for that type of shit, because dude was like, I've never seen people like at a battle hugging and shit. I'm like, you must not know me, because that's what I do. I hug,
right?
Like, everybody, that's cool.
Well, that's just with what they have down there. It's just so much love down there at that studio, and so
really is.
It's definitely check it out. My City, My Music, Soldier by Blood Television on YouTube.
Yes,
those are some great. Yes,
share, follow. Yes.
And so they do a lot of great shows. But let's do one more poem, and then just for the end of the show here.
Okay.
You got one.
You know what? I guess I'll do my. All right. Set a reminder for who the fuck you are. Ding. As for me, I'm a true Aquarius in this new age of Aquarius. And trust me when I say, I cherish this. It's my time. The only planet that spins counterclockwise. I was birthed to cut ties and stereotypes. I'm full of color, yet covered in white. And my Libra's ascending, and I'm ready to fight. 'Cause I got the pride coming like the thief in the night. My Leo moon's got us covered. And my body's just a soldier earning stripes. And the platoon is coming, and we are tight. Mob deep and camouflaged in love and strife. For it's a new age, and I'm burning it like sage. Plainly put, I am airing this bitch out. And though love is my rule of thumb, this tongue is a gun and fully loaded. Attitude and aura on Zen and golden. Words of power repeated and quoted. Affirmations are ascension focused. And love is the medicine, so I get good doses. Swimming in that Red Sea, parting shit like I'm Moses. It's my time. I've been chosen to shake up this consciousness and remote it. I was given powers like this is Frozen, but no Elsa. More like I'm exposing like Mandela or Medusa. Sent here to spit solid truth for us. With God-given seeds to plant some forests, my presence gives life in these words of foliage. I am essential beyond your credentials. I am not paper. I am person. Sent here to reverse the spells they've been cursing. Sent here on purpose. So I'll be damned if I misuse it. Yah's got a plan and I ain't losing it. People are depending on me. God said, set my people free. And I heard him. His words are the seeds and I'm spewing them and excavating the weeds. His words are vibrating in me, interdimensionally and earthly. For it's the age of Aquarius, so I'm determined to teach these here sermons. And I know the clock is ticking. Tick-tock.
Wow. It was awesome. There we are. Ray laid down the truth. Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this was fun.
It
Thank
was
you so
fun.
much. I want to do have like all you guys, Cass and Cassandra, and
Yes,
have the whole A team here one time,
And we'll do a fucking cipher for you.
Yes, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much. So definitely check out the show. When does it air on Soldier by Blood Television? I think it's Is it Wednesday?
What, Poetic Digest?
Yeah,
yes, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday.
And it's live, right? You guys do
it is live. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so you can check it live, and so that's a great show. I've seen it a couple times. Actually, I think I walked through there a couple times where you guys were, because I was at the studio. So it's,
really?
Yeah. So I've seen you guys actually film it live. So.
And here soon, I'll be having a podcast too of my own, called Elevation, and talking about my spiritual journey and how to elevate.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I had a girl that she does. She does massage therapy, but she sees like chakras and things like that, and does the energy with the bowls and does all that stuff.
I want some of them behind some of my poetry. Yeah. I'm like, if I knew somebody that did it personally that would come, I'm like, man, I would do it. The bowls are expensive.
Well, maybe I'll try to do next month a spiritual kind of where people can talk about all the stuff we were talking about earlier.
I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Right, and I'll have good questions. I'll write them all out and all that good stuff.
You had great questions.
Well, I know. Because I've had poets on here before, but I definitely need to learn that subject matter more than what you're talking about. Because now I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued by all that stuff. Yeah. So, well, thank you again.
Thank you.
And so definitely subscribe to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs on YouTube and like the Artists United Network on Facebook. And we will see you again tomorrow. Yeah.